What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday night to you and yours. It is a brand new edition of Chips and Dish here on the AAT Sports Network. I, of course, am Chip at Chip for the Birds, joined tonight by Jamar, a.k.a. JD of D Drippy Network. Drippy, DDN, D Drippy Network. I always mess it up. What? I feel like I was just talking about. I was like, "Wee JD," and I look and it was like, "What? It's changed on me here." What you doing to me? I have my little thing worked out, and it's changed.
It still works. It still works. It's DUI of JD. It's like a play on words. It's Drippy under the influence of JD. Because that's like an alter ego that I got.
Oh, okay. Now I get. See, I haven't had the chance to talk to you about it, so like now I understand it.
Yep.
But like I was like tagging you and stuff today. I'm like, "Where's Wee JD?" And he wasn't here.
You can still find me on anything, JD.
I know. I typed in JD. It was like popped right up. So what's going on, everybody? Real quick, paying the bills. Then we're talking all kinds of sports stuff. So lots of great sponsor statement games, fun free twist on fantasy sports. Make sure you're checking out the shop. Lots of great things, shirts and such. Manscaped is partnered with AAT Birds. Use the code AAT Birds, 20% off and free shipping at checkout. Your balls will thank you. Symbol, the stock market for sports. Use the promo code AAT Birds. La Terrain Luxury Watches. Use the code AAT Birds at checkout for 10% off. And funkbrewing.com, our official brewery. Although I am not drinking a beer this fine evening, I am drinking a little vodka and lemonade. So there we go. I upped it a little bit tonight. Adam, what's happening? He's saying what up to you as well. And the jersey, the Mighty Ducks Conway jersey. Yes, indeed.
That is dope.
Yeah, I love this jersey, and only because I'm cold, so I had to rock like the 3/4 sleeve up in here.
Yeah, it's not nothing wrong with that.
Meanwhile, I was eating an ice cream when we were sitting backstage.
Hey, bro, I got COVID, so like I'm like burning up.
Yeah, what's going on with you? Why are you trying to make the fun contagious tonight, man?
Listen, bro, I'm COVIDed up. I'm quarantined. My wife is negative. I'm positive. I'm running around out here. I got it. I'm hurting out here, man, a little bit.
I'm sorry to hear that. Was it the whole family party situation? Was it the Thanksgiving thing? How'd you get the vid?
I don't know, man. Like like you try to contact trace like all this contact.
Yeah, you try and backtrack it. Yeah.
I mean, I honestly don't know. Like it's some people in our family got it and some people don't. So it's like a toss up. It's like it's a crapshoot, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, and we see that in sports. Like you saw, like McCarthy has it, but like 9 other coaches do. But then, I don't know. I still think it was way early that they all jumped back to sports, but they did it. And now it's just like playing the game of, are you going to be able to play? Are you not going to play? And it's all sports.
Oh yeah. It's everywhere. Like and that's the kind of problem with like like fantasy. If you're a DFS person, you're like constantly waiting to hear back before you start anybody. Like it's like 4:15 and you got a 4:30 start. You got to wait to see if that guy's going to play, but you've already picked up his backup just in case he's not able to play.
Yeah, and I'm struggling enough with injuries. Like, one of the co-hosts of AAT Sports, he helped me with the draft because I hadn't done fantasy sports in a while. And Mike says, "You have the first overall pick. You got to go Christian McCaffrey." I went, "I don't know, man. Dalvin Cook. Like, I worry about McCaffrey's like durability because the new phrase, and I learned this last week is durability is availability. Like
it is,
and sure enough." McCaffrey is out for the year now, and he was the wrong pick.
I mean, it happens every year. There's somebody who takes that first pick, and before it was Saquon. and Christian McCaffrey, and then like all of them went down at one time. Like there was years that like the top 3 picks in my draft have all been out or on IR at some point. So I mean, at the end of the day, it's a crapshoot. Like
I don't like it.
Fantasy's never been harder.
And Matt, I know Cook has been limited too. I know, but at least he's been there a little bit. And my twin, Manny. Yes, I'm rocking the D2. Quack, 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 Mr. Ducksworth. All right, so we got a lot to talk about. I want to start with one of your fortes. I want to talk college football here.
All right, let's do it.
All right. And Javier, great point here, right? COVID has changed the way we play fantasy as we know it. Yes. And Manny says, fantasy is crazy. You never know what you're going to get. It's like a box of chocolates.
I knew you was going to do that. I knew it. I could feel it.
Yeah, I'm pretty easy to figure out where I'm going to go with things. So thinking about college football, right? Huge game, right? It was the game. Michigan versus Ohio State.
Right.
And it wasn't close. It was not close.
Nah, it wasn't. And I expected it. I took Michigan. There, a lot of my friends laughed at me. Of course, they laugh at me because all of the time, like they always think I'm crazy when I take the underdog. But in my case, at Harbaugh was time. It was time for him to beat
10 years, right? It's been 10 years since they won.
At some point, he was going to get fired if he didn't beat him. Like, I mean,
that game.
Yeah. I mean, they just had, but the thing about what people don't really understand about Harbaugh had just gotten an extension. So for Harbaugh to get that extension, it kind of gave him a little bit of like, okay, well, they still want me, but now I need to go out and win. All right, they're sticking with me, but now I need to go get the marquee win. I got to beat my rival. Mm-hmm. I'm a Clemson fan, so
yeah,
every year we got to beat South Carolina. Like that's the only team that's really circled. It's become now Ohio State. We got to beat them, but we always got to beat South Carolina. If you cannot beat your rival as a college coach, you will not be anywhere long. It's just the nature of the beast. It sucks.
I mean, unless you coach at Penn State, in which case you can put together an absolute dog crap season, beat nobody, and get signed until the end of time. Like I don't understand that contract. I don't. You look at some of the other moves that happen where, Brian Kelly leaving Notre Dame to go to LSU because Lincoln Riley passed on LSU to take a huge deal over at USC. And I commented on your show to avoid the SEC.
Yes. Because we all know, and honestly, he know about the sanctions. Like everybody knows that LSU's coming up against sanctions for different reasons. The Odell stuff, they're going to have stuff to deal with Ed Orgeron. He's not leaving on good terms. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why he's not going anywhere else. Like that's why he hasn't been signed to coach anywhere else yet. So it's been kind of, it's kind of playing it close to the cuff. But a lot of things happened in the last 4 years since they won their national championship. Well, it might not have been 4 years, but 3 years. Listen, Notre Dame and Oklahoma are now stepping stone program. I mean, I'm not mad at that. I'm actually
that's real right there.
That's a true statement. Only problem with Oklahoma is though that Oklahoma can't stop a nosebleed. So he can do as much offense as he wants. The Pac-12 the Pac-12 is getting better at defense though.
Right.
So because he's got to play against Chip Kelly. I mean, not Chip Kelly, but Chip Kelly. You got to play Chip Kelly at UCLA.
At UCLA, yep.
Oregon's still going to be good next year. I know they lost some games, but they're going to be good. They won't have Thibodeau anymore, but they'll still be good. They'll find a way.
I don't know. I look at the whole landscape of college football and certain coaches that I like. Again, I thought Franklin was done. You lose the games that you lose, and it's. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I agree. Look, I like Franklin the man, but as far as coaching Penn State, he hasn't beaten Ohio State. He hasn't beaten Michigan. He hasn't beaten Michigan State. He's lost the big games that he's not supposed, and he's good for 1 or 2 losses that shouldn't happen every single year. Yeah, that Illinois game was an embarrassment.
It was everything, and the thing about it is, James Franklin loses in such a way that you kind of can't back him. Like it's not like, but he go back and he loses the big game. Like he'll lose to the Ohio States of the world. He'll lose to the Michigans of the world,
which is going to happen.
But every so often, he catches lightning in a bottle, and that saves his ass. He catches lightning in a bottle. But
to re-up him for the deal that they did,
they must know something.
That's commitment.
Okay, so I have some insider information.
What you got?
So I went to Penn State. They played. Penn State played Rutgers, and their starting quarterback went out. The third string guy actually got the start after their first string went out, not the second string guy. So it
Who was terrible.
He was terrible. But the third string guy is actually really athletic. It puts you in
Okay.
the mind of a bigger, stronger, more accurate Trace McSorley. So I think that they know that that's what's coming back. And so that's why they're not pressed, because he has athletes all over the field. They got some of the best tight ends in the nation. I mean, it's hard to recruit at Penn State because it's so cold. Like these northern states, man, they have a hard time. And I hate what they did to Joe Pa. Like, listen, I'm a Clemson fan through and through, but I was very keen on what was happening at Penn State. And, you know, that really set them back. So James Franklin is kind of in a rebuild, like how, like,
he saved the program.
Yeah.
He saved the program, but it's so for me, it puts me in a tough spot because I compare it to what Brett Brown did with the Sixers.
That's exactly what I was going to use.
Oh, well, then go ahead, my friend. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Brett Brown literally took a team that they knew were going to lose. Like, there's now you can kind of guess if Penn State's going to lose or not, but you still don't know. They could come out and play like lights out, and they could beat some good teams. If they have a whiteout game next year, they got a whiteout game against Ohio State, I think week 4 or 5. Dude, they have an opportunity to beat them. They have an opportunity. And every year there's always that hope that he's going to do exactly what they paid him to do. And until they lose hope, they're going to keep extending him, because he handled the hardest part of the job, which is losing, dealing with scrutiny, like getting recruits to come there even after they had that nasty black eye for the longest. So
I don't know. Matt's giving Bill O'Brien the credit for it.
Nah.
Nah.
Isn't that? Hold on. Bill O'Brien isn't the guy that with the Texans, right?
He was.
Nah, that dude can't do nothing for me, dude. Like, he's done. Like,
but he was the guy that came in right after.
And that's fine. And they should have left him done right after that. Like, you see what he did to the Houston Texans? Like, he can't get no credit for
me. He stripped them. He stripped them for parts.
Dude, he traded DeAndre Hopkins for a pack of now laters and handy in the back of a Walmart bathroom.
But like, so here's my concern, right? I'm looking, and again, this is the AP. So I understand it's not the college football rankings. I get that. But the AP is Georgia, Michigan, Cincinnati, Bama, and then Oklahoma State, Notre Dame, Ohio State. What? I know Michigan has to play in the Big Ten championship this upcoming weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me that if they lose, Ohio State doesn't find some way to sneak back in. Because they always are in the 4.
I know, but like this year is different because you got Cincinnati, you got Oklahoma State,
who's undefeated.
Notre Dame is still in the fight too. Apparently, unfortunately,
Notre Dame is 6.
They're still in the fight. You still got Alabama, could still, you know what I'm saying? They won, so now Alabama's still in, even if they lose to Georgia. So it doesn't even matter.
But that's where I struggle. Like, you have 2 SEC teams in the top 4. And again, I understand that this is the AP. Like, I do understand it's not the same thing. But you have 2 SEC teams in the top 4. If Georgia wins, Bama cannot get a chance in the BCS or in the college football playoffs. And if Alabama wins, you're going to have 2 SEC teams. And I don't think that's right.
It does. Like, to be completely honest, Bama and Georgia are both going to beat it. Like, I'm just being real. Unless there's some type of remarkable thing.
Even if Bama loses in the SEC championship?
Most definitely. Look at how they've done it so many times. They've done it. Like, the fact that Georgia is undefeated right now is cause to say, you know what? They probably will be Bama.
But I think Georgia should be. I think Georgia should be no matter what, because they've done the whole season. Bama.
Who's better than Bama? Who's better than Bama and Georgia? Like, I should, like, in your real mind, like, don't take out the analytics of it all. Like, don't take out your fandom of it all. You don't want to see it. But who's really better? Like, there's most deserving and then there's best. Like, that's the big debate is, are we putting the 4 best teams in? Or are we putting the most deserving teams? Because honestly, I think Cincinnati deserves to be in it. I don't think they're the best team. I think whoever they play is going to beat the dog shit out of them. But, you know, like, that's what
we saw with like Hawaii when they got their big bowl game. That's what we saw with a couple of these smaller schools.
Even the big ones. Look, Notre Dame has been to the college football playoff 4 times, and they've gotten absolutely
ass kicked.
Yes, like, they've gotten beat. Oklahoma has gotten beat. It will come down to Big 12 since he's taking care of business. Yeah, you're right, Matt. Only thing I would say about that is Oklahoma State is in control of their own destiny now.
Yep, that's it.
They, like, honestly, if they win out since he's gone, like, honestly, the teams that are ahead of them are really like Cincy's an afterthought. Like I would put them in like they're in there right now to save face. But Cincinnati, like you said, Cincinnati would be on the outside looking in.
Which is wrong. If you are undefeated, if you're undefeated, you at least deserve a chance to go for it.
Okay, so you remember Boise State? Those years
I do.
State, and everybody kept saying Boise State should be in. When Boise State played a team that was like in the top, they got absolutely annihilated.
For sure. But again, they had won every game.
Most deserving.
You can't have it like a couple years ago when you had Florida, Southern Florida, whatever the hell they were.
USF or UCF.
UCF. And they went undefeated.
Buns.
They didn't get a chance. And then nobody was undefeated in the rest of the college football. And they went, we're the champs. Nobody has beaten us.
That's fine. But you saw what happened with BYU last year.
They are not undefeated anymore.
So BYU last year, when they had Zach Wilson, everybody was like, oh, BYU's the next thing.
Zach Wilson sucks.
Zach Wilson went down to Coastal Carolina. And he got he got beat. Played a terrible game and got beat. And all that talk stopped. Oh, BYU, because at the end of the day, it sounds good. It's a great story. It's a great storyline. But in all honesty, if they expand this playoff to give me the top 6 teams right now, Chip. And I'm going to tell you what's wrong.
Top 6?
Give me the top 6. That's what they want to expand it to. 6 or 8.
All right. So top 6, obviously you go Georgia and you go Michigan.
Yep.
Because again, of who they've played, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You got to put Cincinnati in.
Okay.
You got to put Bama in. I agree with the top 4.
Okay.
After
5?
that, what's that?
Who's 5?
I think Oklahoma State.
Go Cowboys.
That's the only time that's allowed to be said on this show.
Not those Cowboys. And who's the 6th? And 6th is what, Notre Dame?
See, I don't know because
who's 6 right now? They'll make it easy for you.
On the AP?
No, AP doesn't count anymore. It's all about CFP.
I know.
CFP, who's 6? And this is why I'm going to tell you it differs because the AP is most deserving. The AP all cares about the optics, the storyline, because they're Associated Press. They're writing, they're the press. The difference with the college football playoff is this people meeting and having deliberations about who's the best team opposed to who is the most deserving. Because most deserving doesn't necessarily mean best. It just means that they're the most deserving. But if you didn't play poop butts all year and you 11 or 12-0, then you shouldn't go play in the college football playoff to get your face knocked off. Like you see what happens to Oklahoma and stuff every time they go.
Right. So I'm on CBS Sports. They have Georgia, Cincinnati, Michigan, Oklahoma State, Bama, Notre Dame, Ohio State. That's top 7.
I mean, if you're giving me my choice right now, if I got to take my choice, the top 4 is probably going to be Georgia, Michigan. Like that's if they got to beat Iowa. Like they got to take care of Iowa.
They have to.
They have to take care of Iowa. If they can take care of Iowa, then they're in number 2 seed. Number 3 seed is going to be Alabama. As long as they keep it close with Georgia. As long as they keep it close.
They're going to lose and leapfrog an undefeated team.
It's the most deserving.
You're going to have a 2-loss team higher seeded than an undefeated team.
Tell me the last time Bama didn't make it.
I mean, I don't think they have ever not made it.
About 3 or 4 years ago, they didn't make it. They had a down year. They didn't make it
right.
to the college football play.
Then they had 2 losses.
They came back and won the national championship the next year. Like Nick Saban does not take lightly to, the narrative. So I'm gonna be honest. If you expand the playoff, that's fine. You just have to make sure you get the 6 best teams, not the 6 most deserving teams.
Right, but how do you decide? Because again, you talked about back in the day when it was, make sure you have a huge win and you run up the points and you do all that. And now you're like, well, you don't want to run up the points too much because that hurts people's feelings. You got to figure out an actual mathematical way to do this and not people going, well, Alabama's going to sell the most tickets.
Okay. That is a part of that's we see this in college basketball. Worst record beat better teams and higher seeds. Like, let's be real. Like, it's about like that. You're gonna put these teams into these brackets, and football is different than basketball. Like most times, you can't just beat anybody on any given day in football. Imagine putting Cincinnati against Alabama. Nick Saban against the only people that have beat Nick Saban in the last 5 years are Dabo, the guy at Georgia now, and I don't know Kirby. I don't think Kirby Smart hasn't beat him yet. He lost to Jimbo Fisher. He lost to Jimbo Fisher.
Right.
These are all championship coaches. So who else can beat him? Because the guy at Cincinnati can't beat him. I'm gonna be honest.
But again, you gotta give it a chance. You gotta give people a chance to compete for it.
But what happens when you do that and they get blowed out? Then you looking like, damn, like that's the problem. We give them a chance every year.
But does this change when these superpower conferences form?
Not really. I mean,
because unless you're in one of the superpower conferences, you're saying you're not even allowed to take a chance at it.
You can, but look at what you're gonna have to prove. Like now, it's gonna be the Big Ten and the ACC and the Pac-12. Those are one conference now. They're gonna be all playing each other. Then you're gonna have the SEC. So the other teams that are outside of that are gonna have an uphill battle. And I don't know where Notre Dame falls in there. I think they fall in
Notre Dame is never going to join a power conference.
You know why? And that is the problem. Because you're not making them choose, and then you keep putting them in and rewarding them.
Playing garbage teams, and then they play USA.
Listen, piss or get out the pot. They play Michigan. Piss or get out the pot. My daddy used to say that all the time. You got to piss or get out the pot.
I feel like you got to have them play, because when they make it, they get their asses whooped.
Listen, I don't want to see in the college football playoff Oklahoma play nobody's defense and get beat by Alabama 72-4 or some crazy shit like that. I don't want to see that game. Like it should be about the best teams. Who's going to slug it out? Like I want to see that. Like I don't want to see you beat them by 40 points. Like that's not cool. And then then you get an instant classic. Like if Clemson plays Alabama, instant classic. But the last couple of national championship games have all been blowouts too. Clemson blew out Alabama the one year. Then Alabama came back and blew out Clemson. Then LSU blew out Clemson.
But it was the same game over and over again.
So it's not going to change if you put in a lesser team. They're going to get blown out by more. It's just that the one is always up here because every year they're recruiting and they're getting better. And then 2 and 3 are somewhere. 2 and 3 are normally close. And then the 4th seed is the guy that gets in.
But they deserve to get the chance.
What would change your mind?
I don't know. I almost feel like you need a situation where you need to pull the names off of things and be like, here's team A. Here's team B. You do it for like the top 10. And they have to vote based on, wins against top 25, points for, points against, win percentage. You have to look at them without the big shiny name at the top.
And I agree with that. But only problem is you got to look. Once you start putting up the other teams that they played against, you're going to know who that team is because they're going to play an Ole Miss. You're going to play
but that's what kills me because again, we did a whole episode last week about the Baseball Hall of Fame and how these how these writers who don't really know the sport or the MVP awards and how these writers who don't really know or think outside the box, right? They go, oh, well, I'm the writer for San Francisco. So, J.P. Crawford's getting my vote because he played in San Francisco. No. You have to remove the subjectiveness of a lot of these things so that you do get the top 4, so that you do get the top players. True. Because in baseball, and again, we did this last week. In baseball, you are looking at a situation where the all-time hits leader and the all-time home runs leader are not in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Right.
But if you look at their numbers and their body of work, they would go in hands down.
Yeah.
But because you can see the name, oh, well, that guy did that bad thing.
So is that so would you use that same argument for Pete Rose?
Yeah, Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame.
I believe so too.
Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame because if you're going to let the Houston Astros and the Boston Red Sox hold on to their World Series titles for cheating and getting caught and not really getting punished for it, then you absolutely have to look past the steroid use. You have to look past the gambling. And gambling is legal now. I can go on my phone and gamble right now.
So do you want me to tell you something? I use this argument, this analogy a lot. It's like people who get arrested for selling weed. Weed is legal now in most places. Pennsylvania, not so much, but weed is legal. These are no longer crime offenses. So you should let those people out who
you should let them out, and you got to clear their records.
Yeah, because it's no longer.
You've got to clear their records. Or, and I don't know, this is just a crazy thought. We're getting into some deep shit here. Maybe when you're putting out job applications, that question of have you ever been convicted of a felony, which is openly targeting a certain race, should be removed from the job application.
I mean, it's a bunch of. I mean, I'm from the South, so I know, like, I grew up with everybody, so I have a little different mindset. I think with that on their application, I understand why it's on there. It does target a certain type of person, but I will say this: if you're a business owner, you have to protect your interests. So I'm not saying take it off of there, but leave us a thing for people to explain. Hey, listen, I was convicted in 1990 for weed charges, and since then I've been expunged. But you may say it if you look into my record.
Have you ever been convicted of a violent crime?
Violent crime. Well, larceny.
Have you ever been convicted of, theft?
Yeah, like larceny. Yeah, I get it.
But saying the word felony, it and then just going crumple, crumple, gone. That does a disservice.
True.
Sorry, I teach in a mostly minority school district. I have different views than most people who look like me.
No, I get it. It's the communities are underserved and over policed. So of course there's going to be a little bit more, like tension, and there's going to be a little bit more crime in those areas because they're under and especially because the from years ago the war on drugs, which targeted an entire race of people. Yeah. And it's weird to say it now, but like thinking back on it, like the war on drugs is like kind of like we're still having a war on drugs, and now it's like opioids. It's like, what did we really? But
we don't say that because opioids mostly affects people who look like me.
True. I mean, I live in the suburb of Philly, so like I'm right outside it. So going into the city, seeing Skid Row, all that's wild. In Kensington, how like the zombie land, it's weird to see, and it's like the drugs are so bad, and like I think that's what they try to keep out of the jobs and stuff. But at the same time, like there could be like your manager could be shooting up in the bathroom or doing coke in the bathroom. Like how's it any different than?
It's not.
It's weird. It's weird.
I don't know. I've done an entire show on racism in sports. We kind of just naturally glided into it. That can be a topic for another night.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Because I'm all about it. The wife is wandering into frame. I'm trying to convince her to make me a refresher.
I'm not wandering into frame. You can't even listen to me. I'm so sick.
Oh, you got the COVID too?
She does not have the COVID.
No, I have an ear infection.
Oh, that's just as
She's got an ear infection.
Same difference.
Yeah. Can you make me another one?
I just want to hear about racism.
Yeah. We have a lot of like adult conversations up in this house, so
I can imagine.
White people should be supportive, and the best thing that they can do is fall back and let others move forward.
I mean, I agree. I just think it's a slippery slope.
It's ridiculous. And the other issue comes into the fact of like I could sit here and apologize for like, oh, I'm sorry because that's not what's needed right now.
You can't. I mean, honestly, like for real, that's like all Germans apologizing for the Holocaust. Like you can't really do anything. Like at this point, you just try to be an advocate. You try to make sure everybody's treated equally, and that's where you go from that. Like sometimes it's hard to talk about the conversation. It is hard to have the conversation with people that may not look like you, but at the same time, if you approach it out of a place of love, most people will hear you out. You just have to approach it out of a place of love and understanding. Like, hey, I want to understand you. And I don't think really people get canceled trying to understand somebody. They get canceled out of saying something out of that they don't have any idea about.
Right. Exactly. All right. So let's get back on the sports stream.
Let's go.
So we'll spend a couple minutes on the Philadelphia Phillies because right now they're killing me. They've signed nobody. And meanwhile, Max Scherzer just signed up with the Mets, who already had Jacob deGrom.
Yeah.
The Braves are still the world champs. Like, the Phillies are doing nothing. Hector Neris was like, no, I'm good, went somewhere else. Like, the Phillies are doomed for a while. Yes, we have the MVP, and that's great, and that should be a selling point. But tell me, why are people not coming here?
This has got me in lots of trouble having these conversations, but I'm gonna go ahead and have it.
Let's do it.
So Philly is like a big market team. They're a huge market. Like, like they are one of the top teams in like merchandise sold, money made, all these situations, but they have very little championships to show for it. So you have to look at the landscape. They've had terrible management on all different levels, from the Philadelphia Eagles to the Phillies, the Sixers. It's been terrible management. The only team that's winning right now that is the Union, and they have a chance to, I guess.
They're in the conference championship. Let's go soccer.
And that's weird because this is a football town. The Sixers are great. True.
The Sixers are 3-8 in their last 11 games.
And it's weird because we had a conversation, me and you, before about the Ben Simmons situation. It's just bad luck is following Philadelphia. I don't know if it's just the fan base, how people talk and how they're so quick to dismiss somebody. We are
We're tough.
And I say we because I'm a Philadelphia 76ers fan, and I'm super tough. I got in trouble a lot for Ben Simmons this last year, but I will say this: I don't want anybody to think that
it's Monday, Matt. Of course they won.
True. I don't want anybody to think that they have good management on any of these clubs. It's they all went to the same management course of how to screw the pooch. They find a way to screw it up. The bad picks, both.
It's awful.
It's awful. You can't do it. The only good thing that has happened to Philadelphia since Bryce Harper, Philly special. You have 2 championships in the last 20 years.
Right.
And this is
it's tough. And again, Matt's kind of been on this for a while now. The Phillies are 5 years away from being 5 years away. We're a solid 10 years away because we don't have a farm system.
Right.
We don't have a straight up plan of attack. You have so much when you have the MVP of the team, that's got to act like a Pied Piper situation. And nobody wants to come here. The exodus that the Phillies had this year was insane. And Hector Neris, I saw somebody tweet out, if you just put up Hector Neris' stats and the Phillies sign a guy with these stats tomorrow, the Phillies fans would be ecstatic. But the problem is that they put him in a lot of bad situations in non-winning baseball where he did what he could, but he did exactly that. He didn't win. He did what he could, and he still goes down as a huge member of this Phillies organization historically.
Only problem is this is where people come to die. Unfortunately, we're talking about who's going to get more hate, who's going to who is the fans hating more, Rager or Simmons.
Listen, Adam's asking a great question here,
and I'm gonna be honest with you. Why didn't Rager get the same hate Aguilar got?
All right, so here we go. Right, so you had a tweet this fine today, and I loved it. Right, and you tweeted out. I'm trying to pull up the exact words, right? So Jalen Rager isn't getting the Aguilar treatment, huh? Eagles Twitter is giving him grace, but killing Jalen Hurts. I can't figure it all out. Make it make sense. What did you mean?
Jalen Hurts is winning game. You only won 4 games last year, and you've already won 5, and you're probably going to win a couple more, and you still have a chance to get to the playoffs. The Cowboys also lost this week, guys. I know everybody's up in arms the way that you guys lost and who you lost to because it hurts. And of course, I get it. I hate the Giants too, and I hate that you guys lost. But it was
the way we lost.
The way that you lost, but he played Jalen Hurts played historically bad, and that's no way you can take that from him. He played bad.
Now,
but he also put you in a position to win the game at the end, which is even, we've seen it with a lot of these quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson, we've seen it with Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson has played complete crap and then come back at the end of the game and win the game, and everybody's like, "Oh, Deshaun Watson is the best thing since sliced bread." But the Eagles fans are so hard on the quarterback as if you guys have had these great quarterbacks.
We have not. The best quarterback in franchise history is still Donovan McNabb, and we ran him out of town.
It's sad. It's sad to say. And then you start looking at now the narrative is, okay, well, he's not the guy. Okay, well, somebody tell me who is. Because you're not getting Russell Wilson.
Nope.
You're not getting Aaron Rodgers. So those would be the 2 marquee names.
And why would you want them? You're still in the very beginning of a rebuild where you need a youthful quarterback.
What's the point of getting all these receivers up to par and then throwing them in 4 years, throwing them back with a rookie quarterback that they got to now groom? You got to think
because you have to look back at what was said, right? We are a quote quarterback factory.
Okay, so explain that to me. Make that make sense. Because Nick Foles, mediocre at best.
Mediocre at best, unless he was wearing midnight green.
Yes, mediocre at best, but loves to play here. I don't know why they kick him to the curb. He's like an ugly girlfriend. When you have nobody else, you call him and you want him to come over late at night and do. And then any other time during the daytime, you don't even talk to Nick Foles. You don't call him over.
He's your slump buster.
Yeah, he's just there. Like he's always gonna come back. He's always gonna come back. He's gonna always be in the bed waiting on you. That's how Nick Foles is. He come back today, even if y'all did him dirty. He still come back. He loved to wear the green. But then on the caveat to that, you watch Carson Wentz for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
He won no playoff games.
None.
But everybody loves to tell me in 2017 he was almost the MVP.
Right.
Well, I was almost in the NBA. I don't know if anybody knows that. Almost.
I was almost on American Idol because I auditioned.
And there's a lot of almost. But there's not a whole lot of like Joel Embiid, almost the MVP last year. I hate hearing that shit. Like, oh my God. Like,
he was the MVP last year. He just didn't win the award.
Exactly. But he almost wasn't. People can't say that about Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson was the MVP. Yeah. And when you can say that that's what it is, it carries weight. But when you can't, it's just an excuse.
See, it's tough. Like, I commented on your post because I thought it was actually really interesting what you said. I'm like, look, I never wanted Carson Wentz. Like, everyone was so quick to give up on Carson Wentz. I'm like, look, I still want him here. He had a terrible season last year, and there were so many things that needed fixing. It was very obvious. But I didn't want him to go until he didn't want to be here. You can't repair that. You can't fix that. You know, is
that any different than Ben Simmons then?
See, we're here, right? So with Ben Simmons, look, he has things that he could fix. He could fix a jump shot. He could fix a free throw. He could fix the aggression. He could become a playoff player. But he doesn't want to be here. Then go.
But that's the
thing.
Then
go.
The thing about it is, if it was up to him, he would have been gone already. But
I know
he's been held hostage a little bit. So like, and it's just petty. Like, look at what Morey has really.
And it's a distraction. It's a distraction to a team that should have moved on from him because Tyrese Maxey is putting up all-star numbers so far. Right. Now he had a dud of a game tonight, and he had a couple really bad turnovers on Sunday or Saturday, whenever the double overtime game was.
Saturday, I think.
Saturday. You know, that was a game where they should have won. You were playing a Timberwolves team that was beat up.
Yeah.
And you let D'Angelo Russell just go absolutely berserk. But you had Joel Embiid coming back from COVID. You had Tobias Harris coming. Like, you should have played well in that game. And Maxey needed to take that final step. But he's a young player. You expect those things. The problem is that the rest of the East right now is already past them.
Yeah. I mean, with this big hiatus off of Joel, they're never going to get the number 1 seed. I just think too much damage has been done. Like, they'll get like 4. But he's still going to miss time. Like, him missing regular season time is not over. Yeah, that's the problem. And that's what I keep telling people about Joel. I love Joel Embiid.
I love Joel Embiid.
After this last year, I was a big Joel hater before that. Like, I thought he was out of shape. He was undisciplined, all these things.
But he did the work.
He did the work. So that's the caveat. He did the work. So I now have to come back and reassess what I think about Joel. So then this next year I saw him. But the only problem with Joel is the durability.
Durability is availability.
Like, same thing with Carson Wentz. Like, when the dude's out there playing and he's not hurt and he's not banged up, he can be a good quarterback. I mean, I told a guy.
And when he's got a running game.
Oh.
He is paired right now with, and look, Derrick Henry is the best running back in football, but he's not playing right now. Jonathan Taylor is your MVP this season.
Yeah. I mean, let's be real. Like, Jonathan Taylor.
Let's be real.
Five tutties. He was dominant. Like, and we haven't seen that out of the running back since, Derrick Henry. Like, the way he runs mad. Like, he runs like somebody took his lunch money and now he's bigger and stronger and now he wants his lunch money back. Like, he just runs aggressively. So Carson Wentz, everybody's like, oh, Carson Wentz is having the best year of his life. And I'm like, okay, he's having a great season. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, he's great.
He's not being asked to do too much. So if you put Carson Wentz, and again, I'm not saying I want the guy back because he didn't want to be here. I'm not saying that.
You're just playing the devil's advocate. I get it.
But if you put Carson Wentz in this offense that does have some commitment to the running game most weeks, not yesterday. Not yesterday. They were going against the 22nd ranked rush defense, and they went, you know what would be a good idea? Let's throw the ball 14 on the first 16 plays.
It was nuts. And every time they ran, they would do something. I also don't understand the Boston Scott fumbles. Like, I don't understand them. I don't understand why the guys fumble so much. All you work on all week is ball security. Like, why can't you hold on?
You watch the drills where they're whacking them.
Like, Dexter Lawrence's big hand, big mitt getting in there should not knock the ball out. You get hit with broomsticks on the daily.
That thing exploded out of his hand.
Yeah, it was like he like took his hand and like just.
But it was the same reason that they basically benched Miles Sanders the week before.
Yeah, listen, I'm on Jordan Howard. I don't know why I like the way he runs.
I was so against him when we signed him. So against him.
He runs so mad. It makes me happy. Like I love the aggressive running because nobody wants to tackle that guy. You know why Derrick Henry has a bunch of yards? Because nobody wants to tackle him.
He runs a 40-yard dash on a 38-yard indoor track, full speed into the wall.
I don't even know. I want to know how fast he is. I mean, it's almost scary to know how fast he actually can move. But like, there's a couple people I want to know how really fast they are. Like, I want to know how fast DK Metcalf is for real. Like, I really want to know. Like,
he fast.
I want to see him. I want to see him go head to head with Derrick Henry just to see. I mean, they're both specimens. I just want to see what would happen.
Well, you remember when Chad Ochocinco raced a horse?
Yeah, that was an epic fail.
That did not go well.
Why did he think he was the fastest receiver at that point?
Or Usain Bolt would just race fucking anybody. I
don't understand that. Like he was never the most fast like receiver. Like that'd be like Tyreek Hill now. If Tyreek Hill decided to race,
I'd see that race. I would see that race.
I pay good money for that. Like I pay.
I would see that. I would see that race.
I would not watch Chad Ochocinco race a horse. I know what's gonna happen.
But it was all about like the swag with him, and like so. Chad Ochocinco today tweets out like, "Yo, I'm not giving up on Jalen Reagor." And while I want to trust a guy like Chad Ochocinco, I am watching with my own eyes a guy like Jalen Reagor who was overdrafted.
Yes.
All right, so we can't fault him for where he was drafted because he was overdrafted. He was on nobody's first round boards.
Not one.
Nobody's. It's a failure by Howie Roseman. So are we judging him for the mistaken draft pick? Or are we judging him based on what we expect him to be because he's a first round draft pick?
I think that's a loaded question. Because if you look at J-Jow, nobody brings up J-Jow.
I do.
I know you do. And there's another network that brings him up all the time and loves to shout him out. And
I do it in a way that says, look, he was a second rounder. Again, I have my way of looking at things if I play GM, and it's real simple. If you're a first round draft pick, you're expected to be a starter by the end of the first season. That's it.
Okay.
And a contributing starter, not just like hi, I'm on the field, right? Which is what Jalen Reagor is right now. Second round draft picks, you are a starter by the end of your second season at the latest.
Okay. That's fair. So what about, so Quez Watkins.
Mm-hmm. Quez Watkins was always a project player.
But he's not really a project player because the dude can play. He doesn't drop a whole lot of balls.
The dude can play.
He doesn't drop a whole lot of balls. He'll go get it. He's fast. You can throw it to him out of the backfield.
He's got to work on his routes a little bit.
But at the same time, he's fast as hell. So, like, really, like, if you really look at Tyreek Hill's route tree, it's really trash. Like, compared to, like,
it's awful.
Devontae Smith. Like, Devontae Smith is the most technically sound. Between him and Jamar Chase, they're like they're two of the most technically sound rookies I think I've ever seen.
I watched the one route that Devontae Smith ran yesterday, and he went nowhere. Like, he ran full speed, like 6 yards, and then like got stuffed. Because he's got to look, say what you will, but Devontae Smith has got to put on some weight.
Because if you look at the beginning of the season, every time they run him on a streak, he get pushed out of bounds, so he couldn't even catch the ball. So he's gotta get there. That's the difference between Devontae Smith and Jamar Chase, and that's what everybody kept saying is Jamar Chase is a physical specimen. You're not jamming Jamar Chase. He looks like DK Metcalf, but smaller. Like the dude can play. He's a possession receiver. And listen, Cincinnati has two of those guys.
They do.
T. Higgins and Jamar Chase is scary.
If they can get an offensive line to block, then that Bengals team is trouble.
Throw that comment in.
Got it. What's up?
Okay. So Devontae Smith was open. So what I did was he was open briefly. So that's what I was gonna say. So if you look at the progression of Jalen Hurts in that particular play, Devontae Smith was actually double covered.
Yes, he was.
You don't see it because the corner lets him go, but he's masked by the safety. So the safety's playing like spy. And so if you throw it to Devontae, they know that's who they're going to. So
if you throw it on the slant,
yes,
he's open.
Yes.
If you throw it on the out and up, it's a pick.
because they got to score that play. Like he can't just keep it in bounds. He has to score. He can't make a play with his legs or going across, because if they get tackled, the game's over. They don't have any more timeouts. So you got to think about, like, a lot of different things contribute. But the fact of the matter that Jalen Hurts threw two of the best balls he threw the whole game to Jalen Rager. Those are the two best balls.
And that's the only reason why, for me, look, in my opinion, and say what that doesn't mean shit. I'm a guy talking to a computer screen. I don't have a lot of valid points. But you look at Jalen Hurts has got to get, obviously, the rest of the season.
Right.
And I don't think there's anybody else that you can get to come here that's a better option next season.
It's just not,
because there's nobody in the draft. There's nobody in the draft.
I mean,
it's better than Jalen Hurts right now.
You could say, okay, so if people say he can't throw, you go get Sam Howell. But I said this before the show started. Sam Howell he hasn't been able to lead very well. The reason that he was good the year before last is because he had Michael Carter and the other kid that's now both in the NFL. So I don't think Rager scores if he catches it anyway. I think he does. That first one, he definitely scores.
The first one that hit him in the face, absolutely. The one that went through his hands, maybe he gets stuffed right behind the line, like right back there.
Or maybe his momentum pushes him into the goal line because he's falling backwards. So,
but either way, you have got. I don't care if you're a first-round pick. I don't care if you're a second-round pick. I don't care if you're a seventh-round pick. I don't care if you're undrafted. If you are an NFL receiver, if you are a guy playing Turkey Bowl on a Thursday, overweight, flag football, chugging beers in the parking lot with your high school friends, you have got to make that catch.
Yeah.
And you got to make it one of the two times that it was thrown your way. That was an embarrassment. And that's where look, Jalen Hurts had his worst game as a professional yesterday.
For sure.
He's going to have bad games. And I tweeted early on, I was like, look, he doesn't have it today. And you can blame it on the play calling because they have abandoned the run game and you're making him throw it over 30 times. But he's going first read.
Right.
He's throwing it a double coverage. He's throwing it. He's underthrowing it. You've got, at that point, for the rest of that game, I was willing to say, pull him, go Minshew, because the game plan was clearly to pass the ball. And passing at that point, Minshew was going to be your better option. All that being said,
I'm not faulting you for that. That's like a legit concern.
With all that being said, he still put them in a position to win. And I say the defense kept them in that game.
And that has not been the thing the last couple of weeks. Like they've been
allowing huge amounts of points.
Listen,
but the defense held. If you are in the NFL and you hold a team to 13 points, you win that game.
You're supposed to, yeah. In most cases, you win that game.
And you're averaging 35, 40 points. I mean, come on now.
So this comment says there was a lot of problems for the other 59 minutes and 45 seconds. And there was, Matt, like
big time.
Listen, I am a Jalen Hurts guy, and I'm telling you that game, if you showed me that game and told me, is this guy a good quarterback, I'll tell you no.
Right. But he didn't have it yesterday, and you have to look. Russell Wilson had games this season 3 weeks ago where he played like Dookie.
Oh yeah, every guy does. Like Lamar Jackson just threw 4 picks last
he had a bad game last night.
Do you think that the Ravens are trying to trade him for pennies on a dollar?
I think they are. Yep.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's an MVP. I'm sorry. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, you have to give this guy time. Like, you have to give all these guys time. The lot of them. The only veteran guy that you had on your offense was your tight end from the skill position. He was and you got rid of him. You sent him to Arizona.
To say Dallas Goedert
is the guy.
And since trading Zach Ertz, you have not given Goddard any opportunities. No he had 1 catch yesterday for 0 yards.
I had him in fantasy. I know it was. Well, he had 2. Well, I think he had 2 catches, but they were both trash. Listen, I'm with it, man. I'm not here to tell you that Jalen Hurts is the guy, but I've seen him play bad. Like, honestly, if you put the Eagles against a good team, they're going to play good. If you put them against a poop butt, they're going to play like a poop butt.
That's Philadelphia sports, though. Philadelphia sports, and you're looking at the Flyers, the Sixers, the Phillies, the Eagles have constantly, for the last few decades, played to the level of their opponents, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's the story of Philadelphia.
I mean, it's underwhelming as hell. Like, that's the only problem is, like, you try to you try to be, be confident, be positive, but they play like you can get the best of the best, but you also got to realize like, so there's a guy on Twitter in particular. I'm not gonna say his name, but he comes at me and he says, listen, like the carousel of offensive alignment doesn't exist. I said, okay, well, the Eagles have had the most different combinations of offensive linemen in the last 2 years. Like
the Eagles are going to have another new one on Sunday when they play the Jets because Jack Driscoll just went to IR for the rest of the season.
So how is that not true? Like Kelsey came out last week, and he was your Iron Man. He played the most snaps in the last 2 seasons. Like he was the Iron Man. So if he goes down, your offensive line has been a revolving door. How do you not see that this is bad for a quarterback getting used to playing behind somebody? Like you got a guy that you gave lemons and he's trying to make lemonade and you're not happy with the lemonade that you've gotten. So you won't give him sugar to sweeten it up. You just tell him, hey man, we want lemonade, make it good. Like, okay, we'll give him some weapons. Jalen Reagor is not the weapon. Devontae Smith could be the weapon. Dallas Goedert could be a weapon. You just have to use them right. In the running game is your biggest weapon.
The running game is the biggest weapon. And you looked at a game plan, and this is where I struggled, right? The Eagles getting too cute. The first couple weeks of the season, they struggled. Why? Because the expectation was that Jalen Hurts was going to throw the team to victory. And you had him throwing it 35, 40, 50 times. I don't care if Jalen Hurts gets exponentially better. That is not who he is as a quarterback. He is not a guy that's going to throw your team to victory. He's just not.
The game. I mean, I watched him for a long time. So I watched him at Bama, and then I watched him, and he's had success both places, Bama and Oklahoma. So from watching him in college, I will say this: the kid's a winner.
He's a winner.
He answers the bell. Like beat writers were saying, he couldn't throw.
He's a winner. He's a leader. He's an athlete.
So where does that? So like out of your previous quarterbacks, where do they fall in leadership? Where do they fall in?
Wentz doesn't lead. Foles leads.
Yeah, Foles leads, but Foles is also not the guy. They kept trying to get rid of him.
Foles is a career backup.
He just happened
to win a Super Bowl.
Listen, he's got the statue. And the fact of the matter that he's got the statue and that was too much for the quarterback coming back to deal with is that tells his mental fortitude. But we get on Ben Simmons though. They'll say F Ben Simmons at events that he's not even at. And they'll say all this stuff about dude. But Carson Wentz literally said the same exact thing to you guys. I am who I am. Literally said the same. I looked it up. He said the same exact words. I'm doing my best. And you guys said, okay, we love you as long as you want to stay here. Soon as Ben said, listen, these guys came at me sideways on a press conference and now I don't want to play here anymore. You're faulting him. Did he play bad? Hell yeah. Like Ben Simmons should have dunked the hell out that ball. But there was a lot of stuff that happened bad in that game.
It's the same thing though of, look, we say that Carson Wentz had 4 seasons where he played, he got injured, he got injured, he never went to a playoff game, he never won a playoff game. Right. Ben Simmons has now had multiple playoff runs where he disappears when the lights shine brightest.
Yes.
There is a straight up pattern. So for us as fans and, the beat writers and all these guys go, listen, when are you going to get it together? When are you going to work on your free throws? When are you going to take a 3-point shot in a game? And he goes, I'm not doing that. I'm going to leave. I'm going to throw some hate your way.
You should. But my saying is that you should have the same hate because
we said this, Julie. We said this early on.
Yeah.
Best quarterback in franchise history is Donovan McNabb.
And y'all ran him out of town.
And we ran his ass out of town.
And it's weird.
For Kevin Cobb.
Yeah, that was nice. Like, don't you feel good about that?
Like, I do. We trashed him last week too. We did. We trashed him Kevin Cobb last week.
I mean, I'm just saying, like call out the quarterbacks. If you call them out, you don't have a Hall of Famer in there outside of Donovan McNabb.
And McNabb won't even get in the Hall of Fame because he never won a championship.
I mean, that's the sad part.
McNabb will be the greatest quarterback in Philadelphia history, but he will not go into the NFL Hall of Fame.
And isn't that a shame? Like Warren Moon, great quarterback. No, these guys are not going to get any play, and it's weird. But like they treat Carson Wentz like he was like made out of gold, but he was really made out of porcelain. So like that's the difference. Like,
when he goes to Indianapolis, he's having success and he's getting his name, trickled into the MVP conversation. Trickled.
But you have to put his running back in there first.
Yeah, he's got a running game. Jonathan Taylor is the MVP of the league, in my opinion, no question.
Yeah, I mean, you got some people saying total shame. It's like you're holding Carson Wentz to a certain standard, and that's fine. I get it. Like he's playing a great season, but he's also got one of the best running backs in the league as his
an offensive line and a coach who's calling the right plays for him. I said this before. If you put Carson Wentz in what this offense in Philadelphia is supposed to be, if he could have lasted one more season, Carson Wentz would have had a successful season this year.
It could have been true, but we'll never know.
Carson Wentz said, I don't want to be here. And for me as a fan, I go,
does it piss you off that they don't want to be here?
It does. Because I know that we will. It doesn't. Because if you're willing to do the work, this fan base will support you wholeheartedly. They will die for you, right? Jason Kelce is an undersized center.
Oh, very.
He is an undersized center. He's athletic as hell. He gives his all. He literally last season had his arm slinged up, taped, and you had players helping him put his shoulder pads back on because he couldn't lift it, but he refused to come off the field. Yesterday, he came off the field for the first half. You saw Herbig come in. You got 2 huge plays, including a touchdown, pulled off the board, and Kelce went, fuck this. I'm coming back in. And he goes back in. You in Philadelphia love Jason Kelce. And I will go on the hill and say that Jason Kelce is a Hall of Fame center. And offensive linemen are tough to get in. He is a Hall of Fame center because he's revolutionized the position of that athletic center. That's why a guy like Ruiz gets drafted as high as he does.
Yeah, and if you look at it, the plays that they run with him when they run the ball like really effectively, he's pulling 3 or 4.
Herbig's not getting out there.
No, his big ass ain't moving. Like
the
way that he throws blocks and can make multiple blocks in a play and get upfield, it almost beat the running back to the spot is unmatched. And like we're having a conversation about a center. Like that's his passion is that's what's gonna leave. I mean, he's a great center, don't get me wrong. But his passion, I'll never get out my mind that damn genie outfit when they won the Super Bowl.
It was a mummer, sir. It was a mummer.
Looks like a genie to me. Looks like a genie. I'm from the South.
Well, he made my wishes came true when he gave me a Super Bowl. Okay.
Yeah.
But again, it's the idea of like I'm sitting here and I'm racking my brain. And again, I love football. I watch a lot of football every Sunday. Yeah. I'm hard pressed to name another 3 centers in this league.
I don't even know them. Don't get me the line. I don't even know I'm a Steelers fan. I don't even know our center. I have no idea who he is. It might be Ben Roethlisberger. He's big enough.
I mean, if he keeps eating it, it might be.
If we keep him on the team for another year, I'm done. Like I'm packing it in.
Yo, I don't know.
I'm packing it in.
What's your solution? Mason Rudolph?
No, you go into the draft. I mean, people. You know what? People would love to come play in Pittsburgh.
My issue with that, and when Ben Roethlisberger missed a couple games or missed a game 2-3 weeks ago, whenever it was, Tomlin didn't change the game plan.
Mm-mm.
You have Najee Harris, who is a very good running back, and you still went, Mason Rudolph's going to throw the ball 55 times.
You know why they're doing that, though? And I didn't think about this till the other day. And I think because they don't want to use Najee Harris up. Because they know these years are not going to count for anything.
You got Tread. You don't want to put Tread on his tires.
No, and you still got Benny Snell. So you still got some guys that are there. Like, you don't have to run him, 40 times a game. He could be having Jonathan Taylor numbers, honestly, for real. But that's if they ran him like that. The Steelers still have a great.
Instead, they gave a surgically repaired Ben Roethlisberger's shoulder to the ball 65 times.
Why not? He got us here. He should get us out of this shit. Like, you got us here. You're the reason why we couldn't go get a quarterback this last year because you wanted to finish out as a Steeler. Think about how mad I am. Like, and this is the point that I make about all Eagles fans. So every Eagles fan, listen to me. I am a Steelers fan. I have no love or no real attachment to the Eagles other than I live in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, I'm nowhere near as rough on Ben Roethlisberger at 85 years old playing quarterback as they are with Jalen Hurts, who's been a quarterback since breakfast. He's been an NFL quarterback since breakfast time. So, but why is it? And that's the question for all Eagles fans. Why is it that you guys are so hard pressed to break the guy down when he's trying to figure it out? You got a rookie, basically a rookie quarterback. You have a rookie head coach.
Hold on, wait. Jalen Hurts is now coach and has now quarterbacked in 16.5 games. So therefore, he's played a full season. He's no longer a rookie.
Answer me this: how long did it take Aaron Rodgers to get hot? This is
a while.
This is a trivia question for everybody.
He won the Super Bowl, what, his third year, his fourth year?
After they got rid of Brett Favre, because Brett Favre didn't want him there.
Right. And now Aaron Rodgers is doing the same thing. Although I will say Jordan Love is no Aaron Rodgers.
He's trash.
Yeah,
he's trash.
I'd be pissed too.
He's trash. I mean, but at the same time, you also can't ask, because at any possibility, Aaron could leave. Aaron could go.
He's going to leave.
So now at this point, you have to have some type of insurance policy because you can't just start from scratch. So I mean, to be real, somebody from the Eagles fan base answer me. Like if I am not mad at Ben Roethlisberger, who is 175 years old, he's playing very, very badly. Our season is pretty much over before it started. Mm-hmm. Why are you guys so rough on a guy that's making a playoff push? And he's not supposed to be here
in a season
that you're not supposed to be good in.
In a season that we said flat out, this is a rebuild. This is a rebuild. It's a rebuild. As long as we see development, then it's a winning season.
And you've won more games than you did last year already.
So it's already an improvement. The problem is that all of a sudden we're in a playoff competition. And everyone went, including myself, I went, the next 5 games are all winnable games and we have no reason to lose.
But you will lose some.
But again, Giants, Jets, 2 with Washington and 1 more with the Giants. In reality, we had no business losing any of those games. We played like absolute crap.
But the thing about it is,
Matt, this is exactly what we said, right? Bad game, and that's fine. But you have to throw a lot of it on Sirianni trying to get too cute. The one play that got me, right? The one play that got me was, so it's the read option.
Okay.
He pulls it. He rolls out, and on the roll, throws it backwards behind the line to Quez Watkins, who then gets credit for rushing yards because that's how far behind the line was. Why do you need to do all that?
Because so this is the thing when it comes to like when I watch these guys, I get frustrated. I'm not gonna lie to you. If Jalen Hurts, if the way that you've been getting everybody is play action pass, you've been burning them with play action pass, and Jalen Hurts is your second best running back behind Miles Sanders, if you want to say that.
I don't think you can say that right now.
Well, you can't, but
Jalen Hurts is your best running back.
Technically, yes. But also Lamar Jackson is the best running back on his team, too. So
yes, it is.
So at the same time, you can win that way. It's been proven that you can win that way. I just don't think Philly and the owners want to win that way. But what does it matter? If you get to a chip, like what does it matter?
If you're winning, you're winning. So I heard all week long, like, oh, well, Jeffrey Lurie has an issue with the fact that they're becoming a running team because running isn't sexy, right? And you listen to the press conferences in the offseason of, passing is what wins in the NFL. We want to be a passing team. We want to be a passing team. If that was the case, you never draft Jalen Hurts.
If that was the case, then Derrick Henry wouldn't always be in the playoffs. Almost about to win.
You can run. It's nitty, it's gritty, but it sometimes wins football game. It controls the clock. It's more physical. It allows your offensive line to be aggressive.
What's the point of paying all these big ass offensive linemen? You're not gonna let them beat nobody up.
Jordan Mailata is an absolute menace.
He loves to hit. I love that guy.
Landon Dickerson at the beginning of the season when he was forced to play struggled on passing. He did. He got blown up off the line. Play after play after play. You start running the ball and you let him attack downhill, then you have a different story. That
should have been in the scouting report with Landon Dickerson because he did it in college. He used to get blown up on all pass plays. Like in the SEC, there's good defenses. He was getting blown up, but it didn't matter because he played on Alabama. And Alabama can cover up a bunch of iniquities. They just can. They got a lot of guys. They got a lot of dudes everywhere. It's hard to say that, but he's going to be good. But look at that. The names that you named, like Mailata's been playing American football for like 2 years or something.
Mm-hmm.
He was literally playing rugby in his backyard like 2 years ago when they found him. So, listen, you got to give these guys some grace. Should they win?
But that's the issue. See, it's almost, we spent, the first half hour on the show talking about college football. The Philadelphia fan base expects the Eagles to be the Miami Dolphins that went undefeated every single season. And anything less than that is unacceptable. But it's only happened one time in NFL history.
Or you want to win like you did in 2017 and I get it. Nostalgia is
Yeah.
a mofo. Nostalgia is a mofo.
But we didn't deserve that Super Bowl.
Whatever you guys did to win that one, it's coming back to haunt you now.
We sold our souls to the damn devil.
I mean, it looks like it because it's like everybody you guys bring in, you're gonna tear them down. Like the Aguilar thing, it still makes me laugh every time I see it. Like still.
Nelson Aguilar, look, he wasn't going to do well here. And that's the problem. Philadelphia doesn't allow for a learning curve. And I think that's the biggest takeaway. Philadelphia does not allow you to grow into a position. And here we go, right? Ben Simmons has to work on things. Well, why aren't you shooting 30 3-point shots a game? Because I'm probably going to miss it. I'm going to do a better job facilitating. I'm going to do a better job. Okay, but can you take one? I don't want to. That's where the struggle comes in. Carter Hart from the Flyers. He's struggling, not because the last season was because the defense didn't play in front of him at all, so they went out and signed some defensemen. Now they're still getting destroyed, and they're going, well, Carter Hart's not the goalie of the future. No, he is. He is, but you have to let him develop. There in Philadelphia, we do not allow for player development. We do not allow them to grow in a position. That's why Carson Wentz was run out of town. That's why if Tyrese Maxey didn't come in right away and put up, all-star numbers in his second year, we'd run his ass out of town too. We ran Nelson Aguilar out of town, rightfully so. It was year after year of inconsistency. Jalen Reagor is going to get run out of town. He has got to leave to have a chance in the NFL.
What about Jeffrey?
Alshon Jeffrey?
Yep.
He was an established player. He comes here, couple of drops, and everyone goes, well, why is he not doing those things? And the injuries of durability is availability.
Ertz got hurt. Wentz was hurt. Alshon Jeffrey was hurt. Offensive line was a carousel. Like, there's a lot of bad stuff that's happening here. So it's like, listen, I just need all the Philadelphia Eagles fans to just chill. This year's supposed to be
all Philadelphia fans, right? Matt just chimed in here, right? I have way more issues with the Flyers and Carter Hart on the list. Agreed. But you cannot deny, Matt, that the Flyers have looked like crap lately because both goalies can't stop anything. And then you go up the level, right? The defense isn't doing their job. The offense isn't scoring. They went like 8 periods since they scored.
Well, from what I understand about hockey, and don't get me wrong, I'm not any type of like savant in hockey.
Nor am I. We don't talk about it a lot on this show.
But I will say this. When I moved here, they were still called the Broad Street Bullies, and they still want to play that way, even though the game is mostly finesse. So they got the opposite problem than the Eagles. The Eagles don't want to bully you. They want to throw the ball around the field for 67 times like the damn Chiefs, even though they don't have a receiver like the Chiefs or a tight end like the Chiefs. Like, they don't have those things. Like, so Andy Reid makes it look sexy. It's like, I'll use this analogy. Andy Reid is your ex who went out after you broke up with them, and they got hella sexy.
Was right to do at the time. He had lost the locker room. It had been a couple seasons. It was the right call at the right time.
Right. But you now get to see skinny Andy, which is still really fat. But you get to see skinny Andy with his new girlfriend, and she's fine. Like, I mean, fine. Like, sexy, attractive, got the BBL, got the boobs, like she got everything. And you gotta watch her go out on a dates because she's your next door neighbor. You gotta watch her watch him go out on dates with her, bring her home.
You're over there going,
and this put the icing on the cake. You got a window and it's open, and you can see directly into the bedroom, so you know exactly what's happening.
I don't want to see. If you were going to talk about Andy Reid, we got a window directly into the kitchen. He's making up some. He's making
making the best sandwich.
Because if you mention Andy Reid in the bedroom, I might throw up all over the kitchen. Oh, come on now.
That's just my.
That better be like a widescreen window. You know what I'm saying?
All I'm saying is, that's the thing. Andy Reid has got the sexy, attractive girlfriend now, and he's like flaunting her everywhere. And he's being brought up in conversations about a Hall of Fame now. He's won a championship.
He is. He's a Hall of Fame. He was a Hall of Famer when he left Philly.
He comes here, he beats you, and then he leaves. And then everybody wants that sexy ass, attractive girl to come over with them now. But that window better have blinds.
Yo, that window better have blackout curtains.
So you don't want to see Andy up in there putting in work.
I do not.
Listen, you know what's going on. You can hear it too. It's like, That's what I'm saying with the Eagles.
You want a mustache ride?
Oh, God. Oh my God, that is disgusting. Holy crap, what has happened?
I don't know.
Since we have been on this thing, Washington is now beating, you know what? I can't with these guys.
I picked Washington to win. I think the Seahawks are just not a team this year.
I think Russell Westbrook is washed.
Wilson, yeah, for sure.
Russell Wilson.
Westbrook is washed.
Yeah, he's gonna get that. What was the guy who put washed on his in his bio? Le'Veon Bell put hashtag washed, hashtag too old to play. Like that's gonna be if Wilson doesn't do something the next couple of weeks, man, he's gonna be in that same category, man.
Do you think they rushed him back too soon?
I don't know. I just think they didn't have anybody. Now he just got dude is just I just had enough. I've had enough.
I'm gonna need DK Metcalf to get a couple more points though for me though. I'm just saying fantasy wise.
Does he have any right now?
He has 3 targets for 0 catches. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So he has no points.
Nah.
Okay, well that sucks. Tyler Lockett is having a semi-decent game. I mean, I'm probably gonna lose, but it is what it is.
Yeah. I don't know. Fantasy was weird this week. Fantasy was real weird this week. And now I gotta be creative because Dalvin Cook's out for 2 weeks and McCaffrey's out, and I don't know. I gotta be creative.
So I do have a question for you, Chip. I know this is
what's
your
up?
show.
What you got?
So what's the headline this weekend? After all this stuff, what's the headline this weekend? You got conference
against the Jets
in general. Like you have conference championship games in college. You got NFL games all over the place. You got some NBA stuff going on. What is going to be the biggest headline of this weekend?
So, obviously it's Philadelphia, so the Eagles had better beat the goddamn Jets going into the bye week, which is going to be a very long 2 weeks.
This is big.
So that's headline number 1. It's got to be.
Okay.
After that, you have to have the conversation of the conference championship, and the one matchup to watch is that Georgia-Alabama matchup.
Ooh-wee. Okay. Not mad about it.
We spent 25 minutes talking about that specifically.
So my headline for this weekend is going to be Cincinnati's out, Bama's in.
Listen, my wife made my drink a lot stronger than I did.
Listen,
how you gonna bring that up right now?
I'm just telling you. I'm just being honest. If you ask me, that's what's going to be the headline. They're going to meet after. So Sunday morning, we're going to know what's happening because all the teams meet up. They do the reveal, the big reveal of who's playing. And I think they're going to reveal that when they pull those things up, it's going to be Alabama and Georgia get in. Michigan takes care of business, and Cincinnati's on the outside looking in for Oklahoma State because Oklahoma State wins the Big 12.
And
go Cowboys!
I would. You stop that on this.
I didn't say how. I didn't say how about them Cowboys. I said
that's fair. That's
Cowboys.
fair. That's fair. Matt seems to think that Cliff Kingsbury leaves to go back to Oklahoma.
Listen,
I would not be surprised.
No, I don't think he can do that. He's got a great team. I don't know why you would ever do that. You got D-Hop. You got dudes everywhere.
Now you've lost your credibility, sir.
Nick Sirianni headed to Notre Dame.
Now you lost your credibility.
Matt, hey, what's up? Yeah, but who coaches?
I love
the Eagles?
Matt. I love it. Matt is one of my absolute favorite people that watches this show because we always bust chops and have out how the Philadelphia teams do really well on Monday nights. Obviously. But Matt, I don't know if I can get behind that comment, my friend.
So what? Okay, so what happens? And this is my next thing, and I'm gonna let you go. What happens if? What happens if the Eagles win the next 3 out of 4? In the Cowboys, how about them Cowboys? They lose the next 2.
So the Cowboys are approaching the tougher part of their schedule. They're approaching those games that the Eagles already lost.
Right.
The Eagles have the Jets, which has to be a win. If the Eagles somehow manage to lose this week, I'm good on the season. I'm good on the season.
Okay. Don't say that because we know that they'll lose games they're supposed to win.
But it's the goddamn Jets. The goddamn Jets.
The Jets aren't a non-winning team. They've won.
Zach Wilson is trash in a can.
He's the juice at the bottom. I always say he's the trash can juice.
He is the juice at the bottom.
In the middle of July. So it's hot.
He's the garbage that even Oscar's like, trash.
That's too raunchy. Yeah. I'm with you guys. I want you guys to beat the Jets, but if you guys win the next 3 and the Cowboys lose the next 2,
we got a conversation.
No, we don't have a conversation. I have a lot of people I'm going to act. Like I want to keep that same energy.
Mm-hmm.
I want all that same BDE you had before. I want that same energy on the post when I tag you because I'm not pulling punches. I'm letting you know you are the most bipolar fan base I've ever been.
Yeah. And I totally agree with that. Look, for me, every week I write my article, which is, grading the game. And I look position by position. And I give it honest, look, Jalen Hurts put out an F effort last week.
Yeah.
He did. He put out an F effort yesterday. That's not to say that he is a terrible quarterback. He's just not a good throwing quarterback yet. He has played 16 NFL games.
True.
Give him a chance to develop. I am not one of these guys go trade him, cut him, send him in Minshew. I wanted to put in Minshew yesterday because the game plan was to clearly throw the ball, and Jalen Hurts wasn't doing it.
I can't send you this picture, but there's a picture online where Malata is got his hand on Jalen Hurts and he's down, he's really having a rough go at it, man. And
okay.
And in that moment, you can kind of see the dynamic of the team. That's what you're supposed to see.
Yeah. I love that picture.
You got to, if you listen, there's going to be a lot of things that happen to you in life. And this is my, my spotlight moment, my after school special moment.
Let's go. I'm ready for it.
After, I've been around, watched a lot of Jalen Hurts since he was at Alabama. And I know that he kind of got a raw deal for Tua. And he stayed there. He stayed there. He didn't bitch. He didn't moan. He worked on his game. They said he couldn't throw when he was at Alabama. So he leaves. He stays a year. He works on his craft. He stays an entire year, playing the backup. He ends up winning the game for them in the SEC championship game. They put him in. He wins the game for him. He goes back and they don't play him again, and they get demolished by Clemson. The next year, he goes to Alabama. He goes to Oklahoma. Everybody's like, "What's he going to Oklahoma for?" All they do is throw the ball because he was honing his craft. He was trying to get better. He was working to become a better passer. Does he have the most arm strength? No. But I will take 7 Jalen Hurts who want to work on their game than 2 Carson Wentz. Because Carson Wentz thinks he got it all figured out. And when he doesn't,
and he's unwilling, he's not coachable.
Not coachable. Biggest issue playing Division I basketball that I know from playing at Clemson is the biggest thing that helps you not get recruited is being a non-coachable player. If you can't,
I coach Pee-wee football. I coach middle school football. I've coached middle school basketball. I can tell you that sucks.
And the fact that the Redskins are about to win this game is actually really sorry too.
So real quick, and I saw this on NFL memes on Instagram. I'm going to put this up there. You tell me out of this list, their top 3 rules that would instantly make the NFL better. You got to give me your top 3. So 1 is taunting is not only allowed, it's encouraged. 2, no ties. You play until there's a winner. 3, kicks that go through the uprights on kickoffs are worth a point. 4, players are down where they fall, not where they are first hit.
Ooh, okay.
Team celebrations after touchdowns are mandatory. Quarterbacks don't get credit for yards after the catch by a wide receiver. And instead of quarterbacks, wide receivers get charged with interceptions if a ball hits them in the hands. Give me your top 3.
7.
Mm-hmm.
No ties because I'm a Steelers fan and we tie somebody every goddamn year. So yes, I want that to go away. And then celebrations. No, taunting is not only allowed, it is encouraged. Yeah, I miss the old days of
instead of taunting, there's a punk out penalty. You punked out.
You gotta get in. You gotta get back in his face, dude. You can't let him. Fighting is extra points. You got to almost make it hockey. Almost make it hockey. As long as you don't fall, you can keep fighting.
Yeah, I need to see number 3. I need to see number 3 in the NFL. Kicks that go through the uprights on kickoffs are worth a point. Because then when you get penalized on the extra point, they go, we'll charge it on the kickoff, and you have to kick the ball off from the 50-yard line. That actually hurts you.
True. I agree.
Give me number 3.
You would take number 3. That's your
Give me number 3. Give me number 3. Give me number 2. And give me number 7.
I don't really like 6 either.
6 is stupid.
I mean, honestly,
6 would change the way the NFL records would always be.
because Jerry Rice was the great at catching short slants and taking them to the house. So you would take all
And
of
Zach
this.
Ertz would be a Hall of Famer.
True, because he always falls like immediately after he catches it.
He's Mr. No Yak.
That dude got no yak at all.
Unless he went to the Cardinals. Now he's Mr. Yak.
I mean, you're not lying.
Yak attack Zach.
Yak attack Zach.
That
I
one
mean,
hurt.
It didn't hurt coming out.
It
Like
did.
a burp. Like a burp.
It did. That was acceptable about 3 of these ago.
You gotta stop. Listen, I'm sick, so I'm drinking tea out of my Penn State cup, even though I'm wearing Clemson, so it's very confusing. I've now adopted Penn State as my second team.
Antonio Gibson, 109 yards rushing. Jesus.
Yeah, man, he's balling. I mean,
God.
Tyler Heineke's only got 12 points.
Because he's not a good throwing quarterback. What do they do, though? They trust the rush game.
They run him like a big dog. They just let him run around back there and make something happen.
Can't do 6. Reliever can't get credit, or receiver can't get credit for yards it takes for the balls getting to them. Yeah, I agree.
I'm down with that. I'm not mad about that, Matt. Like, I think I would definitely take that. Adam has a good one too. Like the old day when when T.O. signed the football. Like, listen, those were good when they would hide stuff before the game and go find it. Like,
Yo, the Joe Horn celebration. Joe Horn does not get credit in today's NFL for anything. He is a forgotten afterthought. But why do we still mention his name?
Because he has the best celebrations.
Because he broke out a cell phone and called his fucking agent after a touchdown.
Get me more money. Yeah, I think that's what he said. Get me more money or pay. Oh, show me the money. That's what he said. Like, show me the money. Listen, and there's all around history, there's great football movies. And in every single one of those movies, they have these epic, like, remember Longest Yard? They do the bomb, and then they all get there and they blow it up. Like, I want stuff like that to happen. Like, it would be
I'm tired of the no fun league.
Like, listen, I'm done with that. Like,
Where ready? Hold on, wait. You ready? You got your flag ready? Like, come on now.
listen, brother, I'm gonna be honest.
Come on, buddy.
I got my squad. We stand. This is our bad year for us, man. I'm gonna be honest, man. As a Clemson fan, I had a bad year this year, and it's all right. I'm gonna be back next year. Mark this right. Mark this down on your book. There's a kid named Cade Klubnik.
Okay.
He's coming out of Texas. He went to school where Drew Brees. He broke all of Drew Brees records in Texas.
Okay.
He is the next Trevor Lawrence. You can write it down on a piece of paper. He's
college Trevor Lawrence, because I think professional Trevor Lawrence is Dookie.
I mean, yeah, but look, he plays for Dookie. So I mean, he doesn't have anybody.
I don't think he's got it. I don't think he's ever going to have it.
I think he is. I beg to differ. Not because he's a Clemson guy. Now, I don't want you to think that, because that would be checking my fandom at the door.
Sure. That'd be like me going, Trace McSorley is going to be a great NFL quarterback.
Trace McSorley doesn't have he could have been like a Russell Wilson. He just didn't make good decisions. So I would say with Trevor Lawrence is he got all the attributes. He can run the ball. He can throw it. He can put it on a beam.
Yeah.
They just got to get him some weapons. He has Chenault. That's his best.
He's got
receiver.
nobody.
He lost ETN for the season, which is he's gonna be a monster when he gets back. He had already started to pick it up before he got hurt. Listen, they don't have no dudes. They got James Robinson. James Robinson scores, middle of the pack in like fantasy. So I mean, he's not killing anybody. So at the end of the day, they got to get some weapons around. They got to get rid of Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer is the worst thing for any NFL team. Think about didn't he coach like the damn Miami Dolphins or some shit at one point?
I don't even think he did that, did he? No, because this is his first NFL job, right? He went from Florida, took a break after his heart attack, went to Ohio State, took a break.
Heart attack.
Right.
That's because he had a murderer and a priest on the same team.
Yeah. He went Florida.
College.
Yeah. Florida, break. Ohio State, break. Jacksonville. And I know he said that Miami Dolphins worked out D-Virgin, but Urban Meyer likes to work out D-Virgins all the time.
I'm the worst. What's in this drink? I gotta ask Tila what's in your drink.
Vodka? A little Ciroc and some sugar-free lemonade.
Yeah, Utah was first. Yeah, the Utes were first. Then he went to Florida, and then he went to OSU. So
thank you, Matt.
So for me, when it comes to Urban Meyer, I don't think he's that great. I think he's like a Dabo. He's a great motivator.
Yeah.
I'm going on record and saying I do not believe that Dabo is the reason that the Clemson is winning. I think
why do you think a guy like Nick Saban did not succeed in the NFL. He's succeeding in college because he can motivate the guys that he can motivate to get to come to him.
Listen, it's hard to motivate guys who are making six figures without the.
That's why Chip Kelly failed miserably. He was a gimmicky coach
without the motivation of a payday. Because for real, to go to college, you know that the payday's on the next level, so you'll do everything you can to perform on that first level. But now, Dabo can recruit, Matt, and that's But that's because he was a used car salesman. People don't notice that before Dabo came back to Clemson, Dabo sold used cars. And he can sell salt to a slug. And I'm just gonna be honest with you. But you got to look at the way he's facilitated over the years. He's put people in place, like he's put Venables. Like Venables was at Oklahoma, and he brought him to Clemson, and now he's got a top 5 defense every year because of Venables. He's got guys. Tony Elliott, honestly, is not the guy. Offensively, I think we should get rid of him. But I believe that the guy they let go was Brandon Streeter, and Brandon Streeter is the offensive guru.
Right.
So, like he's just been a facilitator. He can motivate kids to do weird things to get to the next level. Like the all in, BYOG, bring your own guts. Like he's so gimmicky. He's gimmicky.
And that's the same way that Sirianni's having success, but he's also talking to a lot of young guys in the locker room right now.
No, he won't, because he's getting paid too much money. Like he's the highest paid coordinator in America. Why would you leave? You're basically, honestly, I just said this. Dabo is the face of the team, but Venables is the soul of the team. And that's why he has a get back coach that literally pulls him back off the field because he constantly stays up.
All right. Adam would like to know what's the main position that Clemson has to address to be better next year. And then we're going to wrap it because we've been doing this for an hour and a half. I got to make sure I go night.
All right. We gotta, honestly, if I'm being real, we gotta do something about the quarterback. Like we got a great offensive line. We gotta figure out what's wrong with DJ. Is either up here or it's in his mechanics. But if he's throwing the ball, like let's say me and Chip were sitting right beside each other, I wouldn't rifle the ball at Chip. I might even hand it to him. But for whatever reason, DJ wants to throw the ball 150 miles per hour, even though somebody's 5 yards away. Like we got receivers. We don't need receivers. We got a running back. We got 3 running backs still, even though we lost 3 in the transfer portal. So we still got running backs. I think Cade Klubnik is the answer. I do. I really do. I think he's an air out guy. I think he can run the ball. I think he fixes a lot of our issues. I think we have to treat him with care. We may need to let him play behind DJ a year. So he may be trash again next year. Just being honest.
But it's still 9-3. 9-3 is not trash.
It is trash for us.
But it's trash for Clemson for where you guys have been lately.
Because we play in the ACC, and in those terms, losing to Georgia was not a bad loss. First game of the year, not a bad loss. But the NC State loss was a bad loss.
And it's those losses that you're not supposed to have that will really bring you down.
Because those are the games that we used to win. The Deshaun Watson and and even with Kelly Bryant, we still won those games. Like we still won those games even without. So it's not some. I just think DJ doesn't have it. I just think he's not a gritty guy. Like he's Ohana. That's how I mean. I hate to say it because I don't want to sound racist, but he's Ohana. He's like from the islands. We've seen that a lot with the Polynesian guys, like Marcus Mariota. They're just so zen that like nothing really, like Tua, that nothing really. You never really see the passion.
Right, and it's tough to follow that guy into battle when he's kind of going like, "We're gonna battle, guys.
We got our ukuleles.
I need you to scream me. I need you to scream me into action. Scream me into action."
Now, if they did the haka before every game, that should get me fired up. Like
I don't know how that would go over in Clemson though.
Yeah, it would pretty much. But no, if he just did it and he called everybody, like I think it could be culturally. It could be culturally. Because it won't be cultural appropriation because he's probably.
It wouldn't be, but it would be culturally confusing to Clemson.
Listen, we've done worse. Like, listen, we got a team full of brothers, dog. Like, it's not like we're lily white out here, bro. Like, the only white dudes we had on the team for the last couple of years have been Hunter Renfrow and Trevor Lawrence. Like,
those 2 guys did okay, though.
Oh, they did great.
They did okay.
They done great. Like, Renfrow has now become a staple in Las Vegas. Like, who thought
now he's Edelman.
He is Edelman. Oh my God, he got Belichick. He's Edelman.
There became a time because of what Belichick did where all of these smaller white slot receivers became NFL superstars. Archuleta, Edelman, Amendola, Renfro. There became a market for the small white guy. In today's NFL, Nick Sirianni could make a couple mil.
Would you be willing to go to the NFL to make a couple mil right now?
Brother, man, they can call me right now.
You take the job.
Hell yeah, my 34-year-old overweight self. Bring it on.
So they put you on but you got to go on the worst team in the NFL.
I mean, if the Philadelphia Eagles call me, I would.
They're not the worst team in the NFL. Like you got to go to
Detroit.
You got to go to Detroit.
I'll catch a couple passes from Goff.
God, that sounds terrible. We
All
tired.
right, and on that, we gotta wrap that shit up. JD, I want to thank you for joining me tonight. You are my man. What are you plugging tonight? Talk about your stuff.
Just the t-shirt I'm wearing, Unity. We're just kind of pushing that right now. Like there's enough like hate and like disagreement everywhere. Like we're just pushing Unity. The shirts are on our website. So if you want to go to our website, just go to our link on Twitter. It's on there. We have our own website, but nobody really uses it. We're new. We're the new kids on the block. We're trying to make a splash, but we got a bunch of shows. We got programming 6 out of 7 days a week. And we're gaining more shows every day. So I'm excited about that. Also, if you want to follow me, if you want to tell me I'm an idiot, I'm good with it. DUI of Drippy or DUI of JD or DrippyNet.
Thanks, Adam, man. He is awesome.
Adam is dope. Yeah, you can reach me on there. I'm always pretty active. I'm in a current argument with a guy right now, but it's like I'm just trolling him at this point because I don't have anything else better to do. I have COVID. Like I'm on quarantine. Like this guy probably has to wake up and go to work. Like I'm good. Like he's mad. His blood pressure's pumping. I literally have a stuffy nose. Like I'm about to go to sleep. I'm pretty sure he's still texting. He's still mad. He's still adding me, which is just making my tweets go viral, which is fine. I don't care.
I can't with you.
I learned that from Prince. Like all publicity ain't bad publicity.
You just gotta keep poking it.
The bear will. You ever heard the saying, the hurt dog always holler?
Yeah.
That's what I do there. If you get mad about something I tweet, it's because it hurts you because normally you did it.
There's some truth to it. Yep.
Well, I love being here. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, man. Dude, you my boy. You know that. Matt's saying awesome. I mean, yeah. I appreciate you.
I gotta get one of those duck shirts, man. How do I get one of those?
So we had a sponsor called 99jersey.com. We kind of stopped plugging them because they did like a weird thing with the code. I guess we still have a code with them. I don't know. But I think it's AAT Birds 20. I think that's what they changed it to. We were selling a whole bunch of jerseys, and then they were like, hey, we're going to change the code because you're selling jerseys. I don't know.
Okay.
99jersey.com. They got all kinds of movie jerseys. Use the code AAT Birds 20. We haven't plugged them in a while, so I don't know. See if the code works.
Booby Miles?
Let me know. Yeah.
They got the Perennial Booby Miles?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's over with, bro. You getting that?
I got myself a Kobe Lower Merion jersey. I have a Georgetown Hoyas Iverson jersey. I got a Shaq LSU jersey. I got a Shane Falco jersey. They have Billy Bob jerseys. They got Bow Wow jerseys from Like Mike.
This is ridiculous.
They got what's it from oh god, the Keanu Reeves movies with the baseball.
Oh, Hardball.
Yeah, they got a little Baby G jersey.
Yo, that man he's epic.
Yo, that movie hurt.
You cried?
Hell yeah, I cried.
Only movies I've cried at. I cried at Best Man Holiday. I boohoo every time. And anytime I see anything with Kobe Bryant and his daughters.
Thank you. Hardball.
I cry every time. Like anything about Kobe or Gigi, cry.
Yep.
Like I just like it's like whole face. I ugly cry.
Ugly cry. So yeah. All right. Lots of great sponsors. We're going to run through this real quick. So Statement Games, fun free twist on fantasy sports. Make sure you check it. Make sure you're checking out our shop, aatsportsnetwork.com/shop. Lots of great stuff in there. Symbol, the stock market for sports. Symbol.com. Use promo code AATBirds when you sign up. Lots of Rain luxury watches. Use the code AATBirds for 10% off. Funkbrewing.com. Make sure you are checking out the official brewery of AAT Birds and the AAT Sports Network. And Manscaped.com. Cyber Monday is still happening right now, so hop on there for 25% off. And then use the code AATBirds on all the other days for 20% off and free shipping at checkout.
Your balls will thank you.
I don't know how you do that. You do it every time. I don't know how you do it.
I just lower my voice and get real close to the microphone, and I don't shout because this microphone is the truth. So if I do it loud, I'll be like,
We're
I know.
microphone twins.
we're microphone twins. Lots of great programming this week. Make sure you're checking out. We have Burning Bridges tomorrow night with NFL player Jeremy Bridges. We have the AAT Sports Eagles weekly report with a Jets. I think they have podcasters or writers, so I'm going to talk to one of them. We're going to talk about their quarterback carousel. We have Across the Pitch talking about the Philadelphia Union's conference championship matchup. And then we will be live at the West End this week. We had some family stuff going on this week where we couldn't get away. And you know what? That's going to happen. But we will be live this week at the West End on December 5th, which is my birthday. So come party with me on my birthday.
True.
And there it is. I'm Chip. That's JD.
I'm Dish, I guess. Or yep.
We gonna talk about that in a second. I'm gonna play a commercial and we're gonna talk. I have an idea.
Oh God.
Here's a commercial at your testicles. Peace.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. The season of giving is upon us, and Manscaped is getting into the holiday spirit. Go to manscaped.com and use the code AATBirds for 20% off and free shipping on all your holiday gifties. To help get you into the spirit, we rewrote some of your favorite holiday songs to remind you of all their great products. Shave your balls with gifts from Manscaped. Fa la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be smoother. Fa la 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 la. Buy some gifts today from Manscaped.com. 2 free gifts for you from Manscaped.com. Grooming around your Christmas tree with the Lawnmower 4.0. Your jingle balls need some fresh grooming, and it's the only way to go. Smoother balls. Smoother balls. Use Manscaped Crop Exfoliator. Grandpa needs to trim his ears and nose hairs, 'cause he can't hear or smell us anymore. You can say he could just use a razor, but the Weed Whacker 2 is the way to go. For the Jewish friends in your life, Manscaped, 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 shave your balls today, and when they're dry and ready, a smooth menorah you can play. I got Manscaped's brand new body wash. Used it on my mistletoe last night. Also used the 2-in-1 shampoo conditioner just for fun. I washed and scrubbed everywhere, now the smell's improved a ton. Put in your order at manscaped.com today and have a great gift to give this holiday season. Use the code AATBirds at checkout for 20% and free shipping. That's AATBirds at checkout for 20% off and free shipping. Have a holly jolly ball a day this winter with Manscaped.